Hello beautiful people! Hello beautiful people of TOPWAR, and welcome to the episode in which we're gonna test this new Air Force hero CARNA, obviously implemented in this regular attack type of damage for the Air Force, and we're gonna use the hero triad, the upgraded version of that. But before I put some numbers on the screen, it's super important for me to actually give you a couple of tips in how to do this test in the most efficient way possible. So obviously, if you have more accounts in TOPWAR, you're gonna have more than just 20 tries. It still doesn't change the fact that you should obviously focus on the most important tests first. But not just that, beautiful people, I will also gonna show you how to set the hero trial toys in order for the result to be as helpful as possible. So good, let's jump into the hero trial. And I'm gonna show you what I have tested for this episode. And obviously, I'm gonna focus on the most important question in TOPWAR. So, the ignition setup for the Air Force versus the regular attack setup for the Air Force. Now, this is just an example. Obviously, you can use in here Tigress. Obviously, you can use Vivian in here. Abad is more or less pretty awesome. Obviously, you can use Asuka. But this is what I'm using right now. Pretty much the best setup. Obviously, from the level 5 exclusive skill perspective. So you're gonna see 10 attacks on the screen in which Brady, Storm Shadow, and Abad gonna be the attacker versus Lin, Storm Shadow, and CARNA. Again, here you have a couple of more options. You can use in here Duke if you want to. You can use Vivian if you want to. Obviously, you can try Cranston, but it's a super old hero. In this case, I have chosen Lin. And then the next 10 attacks were gonna be the regular attack type of setup as an attacker, and Brady, Storm Shadow, and Abad will gonna be defending. Now to the most important part, how should you set this hero trial in order for the result to help you as much as possible? And you know what? Let's start actually with the formation. So I tend to use the Shark formation because I'm still not satisfied with the level of my Scorpion formation, and here you really have to pay attention. There is no point to bring this to level 10 because you probably don't have it. So from my perspective, I have it at level 7, and that's exactly where it's gonna stay. Obviously in this menu I could have used the Valhalla units, but then again, this is not that realistic for me in battle. The second important toy in here is actually the Heavy Trooper, and I'm using the Luminary Knight. And you don't have control about the side chips, slots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but this is pretty much the setup which I'm using right now. Let me show you now very fast that is kind of the same. So we see the Luminary Knight, and I'm using this Christ Sword chip for the moment, while everything else is pretty much mixed, but probably at one point I'm gonna aim for the full set. Let's go back to the hero trial, because we definitely have to approach the most important question of this testing by far, which is what runes should you use? Now, you see exactly what I'm using here. I'm using the Flammable and the Searing on all the heroes. And also on top, what you're seeing here is me selecting the lowest level possible, because this is pretty much what I have right now. There is no reason to use a higher level. And obviously there is no reason to use a better rune, because we do indeed have a better one, which is Artillery Storm, which will boost the offense buffing capability of the offense buffing hero, because in this case that's Mr. Brady. And the same thing goes actually for the Storm Shadow. I could use the Unbreakable here. I do indeed have this rune, but it's on the tank, so there is no point to aim for a set of runes which I don't have. Now, the most important part obviously is that when it comes down to the regular attack setup, they literally have the same setup with the same runes, because this is realistic. There is no point to select runes in here which I don't have, not to mention the fact that we still cannot aim for specific runes in order to have a realistic time of finishing or working towards a certain build. So that was the most important part. Well, let's have a look at the numbers. So the first 10 attacks, as I said, Brady, Storm Shadow, and Abad will gonna be the attacker, while Lin, Storm Shadow, and CARNA will gonna be the defender. And it's obviously what you are seeing here. From 10 attacks, the ignition setup won 8 of them, while the regular attack type of setup won just 2 times, which brings us to this result, which is, in other words, not a surprise. The ignition setup is roughly 16.1% better than the regular attack setup. But now let's have a look how the regular attack setup will perform if they would actually be the attacker versus Brade, Storm Shadow, and Abad being the defenders. And let's have a look. And here it is. From 10 attacks again, the regular attack type setup won just 4 times, while the ignition setup won 6 times, which brings us exactly to this result, telling us that the ignition setup also in defense is approximately 7.7% better than the regular attack setup, which is honestly, beautiful people, not a surprise for me. So beautiful people, this is pretty much the first test with this new hero called CARNA. Obviously, if you are doing more tests, it will not hurt at all and probably gonna help even more of us to actually come in the comments and write your results. So I've tested this certain setup, like for example, Tigress with Vivian and Abad, or Tigress with Vivian and Asuka, versus this regular setup. Obviously here you also can do some changes with Mr. Duke or Vivian and bring us the numbers, because that's the big advantage of this channel and of many people collaborating with us and with many people helping us in the comments. We can get the data very, very fast. And obviously, if you want to support my work, dear beautiful people, the best way to do so is actually 100% free, as you should subscribe to this channel. Obviously, watch my videos till the end. Thank you very much for watching, and I will gonna catch you in the next episode. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Timmy will help you.